Good morning and welcome to Q&A Friday. So today we have a question about nationality and deprivation of citizenship. So the question came to us as, can you lose your British citizenship? So can you lose your British citizenship? It's a question that has been in the press quite a lot, and there's been a lot of discussion around this area. So my name is Rumbi, and I'm from Tulia, an organization that's based in the West Midlands in the United Kingdom. So we get questions from people from all over the world about immigration issues on our different platforms. And today I'm answering the question about deprivation of citizenship. Can you lose your British citizenship? So there's many people who have um, come to the UK from all over the world and are now citizens. But can you lose that citizenship? That's the question that we are answering today in a very short period of time, but we're just going to run through it quickly. So the Home Office maintains its national security for this country and is bent on keeping the public safe. Those are some of the government's top priorities. And so removing someone's British citizenship, which is also known as deprivation of citizenship, is used against those who obtained citizenship by fraud. So there may be people who've obtained citizenship by fraud, and against the most dangerous people who may be terrorists, extremists, or serious organized crime. And it does come with the right of appeal when when citizenship is being deprived. So fraud, when it comes to fraud, one of the things that I have come across in my practice is people who obtained their immigration status through fraud eventually were granted indefinite leave to remain and citizenship. And then it comes to light that some of the information that they gave was not true. One of the most common ones is those who gained their indefinite leave to remain through the ancestry route and used perhaps fake documents in order to obtain the indefinite leave to remain. So I've come across many of those where there has been deprivation of citizenship after the fact, where someone receives a letter from the Home Office. And it's so unfortunate that many people are reported by by um, by people who know them intimately, people who know them. So there's people who know your background, know your situation, and know what you did and have evidence to prove it. So sometimes it's anonymous letters sent to the Home Office, it's going through a nasty relationship breakdown, and people then make those referrals to the Home Office. The Home Office will investigate, ask questions, and then take decisions based on that. So that's one of the different types of scenarios where we've seen people receiving letters relating to deprivation of citizenship. So this power is not a new thing. It's been there since 1914, when the British Nationality and Citizen Status of Aliens Act was made. So it's been there for a long time, but it's currently in Section 40 of the British Nationality Act, and it can be used in situations where the deprivation of citizenship is conducive to the public good, and that is reserved for people who pose a threat to the UK or whose conduct, like their behavior, involves very high alarm, such as national security, including people who are spies, acts of terrorism, behavior where there's glorification of terrorism, war crimes, or serious organized crime. So we all know the case of Shamima Begum, which was in the press a lot, where she was deprived of her citizenship. And so in such cases where it's it's where deprivation of citizenship is conducive to the public good. It's used sparingly, and it has to comply with the UN Convention on Reduction of Statelessness. And the Home Secretary decides each case personally. So it's something that is taken very seriously. It's not something that is done lightly. And the second one is deprivation of citizenship on the grounds of fraud. It's for those who obtained their citizenship fraudulently and so were never entitled to it in the first place. I came across a case where siblings got into a fight, and one had claimed asylum and said, "My mother was killed by ZANU PF militias." And the sister found out. One sister had British citizenship, another had no papers, and then reported. So there are instances where you have close family perhaps who become aware and make reports on that it was obtained fraudulently. So I've changed the facts a little bit around that, but it's a type of scenario. So different relationships, different parental death. So it's an example. And there's lots of different examples. So, like I said, ancestry is one, false asylum claims, or somebody who has been granted asylum but has traveled to their country of origin many times, and so was fraudulent in that they claimed that they needed protection when they actually didn't need protection. So, where people have obtained citizenship fraudulently, then the Home Office can deprive someone of that citizenship. From 2010 to 2018, an average 19 people a year were deprived of their citizenship where it was conducive to the public good. And in the same period, an average of 17 people were deprived of citizenship on the ground of fraud. So you can see that the numbers are quite small. They're not big numbers. It's not something that happens often or is done lightly. So an individual in the UK who's been deprived of their citizenship, of their British citizenship, no longer has any immigration status. They might be granted permission to stay, or steps can be taken to remove them from the UK. And if they are overseas when this happens, they cannot re-enter the UK using a British passport. So that's a summary of deprivation of citizenship. And so it can happen. And there is usually a right of appeal, and there's time for you to make your case to the Home Office. There's safeguards that are in place, so decisions are made following careful consideration of advice from officials and lawyers and in accordance with international law, including the UN Convention on the Reduction of Statelessness, and each case is assessed individually. And an individual can seek to exercise their right of appeal against the decision, even if they were not aware of the deprivation at the time. So, that issue about appeal rights is very important, and the appeal rights can be exercised from within the UK or from outside of the UK. So, in a nutshell, that is the answer to the question. So it's not very easy. But one thing I would say is indefinite leave to remain is much easier to revoke. And that will be a topic that we will discuss, especially around criminality and what leads to deportation. So you will have people who have been granted indefinite leave to remain, but commit offenses and crimes. And then that indefinite leave to remain is revoked. And a deportation order is issued. When does that happen? How does that happen? And how can you prevent it? And what can you do? So that will be a question for another day because it's a whole topic on its own. But hope that has answered your questions. If you do have any further questions, please do not hesitate to send them in to a DM every Friday. We answer at least one question and just go through that. We will have another session on how to get British citizenship because there are different ways on how to get British citizenship. And that's a question that we often have coming through. So we are answering your questions and providing information in a way that is easy to to digest and easy to absorb. If you need immigration advice or assistance, please do not hesitate to contact us via our website www.tulia.org.uk or send an email to info@tulia.org.uk or send a text message to 07956949500 on WhatsApp, and we will send you a booking link where you can book an appointment with one of the team. Thank you so much for listening and have a fantastic weekend. Be blessed.